Hey, what's up? How are you? Welcome to another tutorial here on my Rode Studio channel. In this video tutorial, we are going to review my creative process for this production, inspired by the song Reach Out, produced by D-Formation and Darksidevinyl. Now let's listen to a snippet of this final result. The goal when producing this track was not to recreate it in exactly the same style as the reference track. I wanted to contribute by adding some of my own ideas in terms of synthesis and mixing process. In my creative process, I always decide to create a bass with the main instruments in the drop. As for me, it is the most important part of the structure of a track aimed at the dance floor. I start by generating a 4-beat bass using only the kick. After the kick, I decide to design the main synthesizer of the song. In Omnisphere, the first oscillator I select is the J.D. Bells waveform from the digital wavetable category. Then, I decide to increase the shape. Then, I decide to activate the FM tool, frequency modulation, in boost mode. Then, I activate the filter by setting my filter envelope this way. Within the filter options, I reduce the intensity or depth of my resonance parameter. I decided to widen the stereo image width of my oscillator, so I turned on the Harmonia tool. Within the Harmony tool, I activated 2 more voices, each panned to the opposite side, 1 octave up. I activate another instrument using a noise oscillator to generate texture for my sound design. In Main, I select the option to share in the signal patch. This will make instrument A share the filter information with the other instruments, in this case, the noise. I automate the cutoff by generating rhythmic impulses to my sound design. Activate effects like equalizer, compressor, delay, and the audio effect Valhalla Vintage Verb. With the same rhythmic pattern of the main synthesizer, the synth bass will act in the same way. It's time to listen to the percussions. The hi-hat and the shaker will make the rhythmic bass feel faster. Every 8 bars, I add some orchestral percussions to give it a dramatic mood. Let's listen to the new synthesizer introduced in Drop 2. For the synthesis of this sound, we will need two oscillators. The first one I chose is a sawtooth oscillator, and the second oscillator is a noise. I activate the arpeggiator. Then, I activate the filter, keeping the envelope of my filter this way. In modulation, I have two links. The first is the tool both envelope one, linked with the pitch course. This last one is a bit strange. My goal is for it to constantly raise and lower the decay to get an interesting sound in the pluck of each note. We activate the effects. The introduction of this synthesizer to the track's production is smooth. With the EQ8, I automate the low-pass filter, creating a fading effect. In the reverb, I like to start with a high dry wet, which subtly decreases little by little. There are two ambient sounds in the background in Drop 2 and Drop 3. In the breakdown, a new instrument enters the production. This aims to be the melodic synthesizer. In this, I only use one oscillator, which is the sawtooth. I activate the arpeggiator in chord mode, as there are two notes where each step, the arpeggiator should play instead of just one note. Then, I activate my filter, leaving my filter envelope this way. And finally, we activate the audio effects. There is another instrument introduced in the breakdown. I added two texture samples between the breakdown and the build-up. A super important percussion to create tension is having a snare roll. instrument, I love the idea of keeping the cutoff open and gradually closing it until measure 129. And well, we've reached the end of this video tutorial. In the video description, you can find the links to get this Ableton project. Without further ado, see you in the next video.